Most of you remember Ratatouille, where a rat controls a ginger by pulling his hair to cook food. I know, weird, right? Well, the weirdest thing in this movie is not just a rodent, because after rewatching it, this entire movie is built on one big lie. It's everyone trapped inside the role they think they have to play. The rat dreams of becoming a chef, the ginger takes the credit from being a good chef, the gremlin clings to a legacy, the critic convinces everyone, including himself, that nothing can move him anymore. Different from each other, but they're all the same thing. It's being trapped behind a role they think they have to play. Remy's a rat who wants to cook, but that's not easily working out for him. The problem isn't the lack of talent, it's the world that decided what is a rat supposed to be. To humans, he's a dirty pest, something that should only be in the sewers. To his own family, they are just scavengers who steal to survive. But Remy wants more than survival. While the colony is busy eating from the trash they found, Remy is obsessing over the flavors he experimented with the ingredients he got, and dreaming of becoming a chef. Remy secretly reads Chef Gusteau's cookbook and watches his cooking show every night, despite his father forbidding him to stay away from humans. Remy is not pretending to fool people because he wanted to. He's hiding because the world refuses to accept him. Nobody will judge his cooking, they'll only see the rat. That dream got him in trouble because he tries to steal the saffron. Everything goes wrong. The colony was forced to flee from the house, then successfully escaped into a river on little rafts. Remy got separated from his family, and for the first time, he was all alone. Losing everything was the chance. Remy got to become who he wants to be. If we were never separated, he would never found Paris. He would never find Gusteau's restaurant. If Remy stayed with the colony, he would spend all his life doing what everyone expected him to do: scavenge, hide, and survive. Instead, this is where the story takes place, where Remy finally becomes the chef he always dreamed to be. You'd think that's where his dreams begin. Instead, the movie introduces someone who's less qualified than the rat. Meet Alfredo Linguini, a human guy who's worse at being a chef than a rat. Linguini is clumsy, so he isn't really respected, and he's one mistake away from getting fired on his first day. Funny, fast, just like the little chef, Linguini is trapped by people's expectation. Nobody sees him as a future chef, just a mere garbage boy. Yada yada yada. As you've noticed, there's parallel. Remy seen as a rat, Macaroni seen as a loser. Different worlds, but same problem. Things got worse when Macaroni ruins the soup. He was about to lose his job, until little chef tried his very best to fix it. Imagine getting saved by something that the restaurant called pest control for. Why is this scene important? Because it's the first time these two outsiders meet. These two work so well together because neither of them belongs in the kitchen. One is definitely shouldn't be there, and the other isn't expected to be there. Alone, they're failures. Together, they're exactly what the restaurant needed. Linguini is still insecure and relying on Remy's talent, but deep down, he knows he doesn't deserve to be there. But there's someone who's complete opposite of Linguini, aside from Remy. It's Colette. She is good enough and knows how to cook, but she's working in male-dominated fields, so she constantly has to prove her worth and fight for her position. And that's why Pasta and Colette's relationship works pretty well. Time passed by, Colette sees the improvement Macaroni made. No, Linguini's ending isn't like, wow, he's secretly talented. He's not. He was terrible, but he was willing to learn. Colette gave him a chance. He became better from learning from her. Colette still belongs in the theme, but she already knows who she is. She's a chef. She's just constantly fighting her place in the restaurant. But in the future restaurant, I will explain it in later parts that she eventually finds a place that she can belong. Now, she fully believes Linguini is a great chef. But pretending and keeping this lie comes with a price. The more famous Linguini gets, the harder it is to tell the truth. Eventually, Remy finally snaps. Linguini becomes everyone thought he was a complete failure. After everything falls apart, he tried getting rid of. But here's the important part. He can't get rid of Remy. He knows the truth. Without little chef, there's no Chef Linguini. But Remy and Linguini aren't the only ones living behind a role. While these two are trying to keep one giant secret, there's another guy who's faking it. Skinner constantly talks about protecting Gusteau's restaurant, but this little profits of Gusteau's motto, anyone can cook to anyone can buy frozen food with Gusteau's face on it. Gusteau's philosophy turned into a brand, making his image alive, not out of love and respect, but he makes a lot of money. Wearing Gusteau's like a costume, he doesn't inherit Gusteau's dream. He inherits his logo. The motherfucker isn't trying to be Gusteau's successor, he's trying to look like the next him. Because the second everybody stops believing, he will lose everything and eventually become a nobody. That's why when macaroni start getting the attention, Skinner panics, not because of the food is worse, it's actually better. This became a problem for Skinner because it threatens the image he built for years. If everybody found out that he's been lying off Gusteau's reputation this whole time, that act is over. You notice it, right? Remy isn't the only one hiding. Noodles isn't the only one living a lie. Even Skinner is trapped in a situation. No talent like Gusteau's, all he has is his name. But if there's one character who has been trapped in his role than everyone else, it's Ant. People know him as a scary food critic and as something that most characters don't have, is authority. One review is all it takes to make or break a restaurant. But somewhere along the way, being a food critic, it stopped becoming a job. It became who he is, his entire identity. He tears chefs apart and acts like nothing is worthy for him. His reviews for food is like Gordon Ramsay after skipping a breakfast. But it all changed when Little Chef served him Ratatouille. Anton took one bite. And that all it takes, Antonigo disappears. Now, not literally, it's the critic that disappears. The first time in years, he isn't being the main food critic. He remembered his past, his dinner with his mom as a kid, feeling safe and loved, remembering where the food mattered to him in the first place. The realization he had made him know that the greatest chef can be found somewhere you would never expect, even a rat. Finally, Antonigo put down his ego. Instead using his powers to destroy Remy, he uses it to protect him. Eventually help Linguini and Colette and Remy build a new restaurant. It's small and intimate, and most importantly, it doesn't care about the old rules. A rat is cooking. Anyone can cook, but the new restaurant takes it one step further. Anyone can belong. Every single one of them has a role they thought they had to play, but those roles are not who they are. Belonging, insecurity, control, authority. These four nations live together in harmony. Then everything changed when I'm just kidding, I'm no map path theory. Okay, I'll get into it. Ratatouille is about realizing that this isn't who you are. Whoever and whatever you are, your role doesn't define you. You don't have to become what everyone else you thought you're supposed to be. You just have to figure out who you actually are.